when their issues or their points were to be responded. But I'm sure, having learned quite a bit from the Parliament, they must be watching me outside somewhere. And therefore, I will still not disappoint them. Before I pick up a few points that have been raised and which have some relevance also for others, this is an issue which touches every citizen of India. And I'm saying so because I heard some of the members say that I am a stakeholder, so I have a greater stake. Somebody said I'm associated with education and therefore I have a stake. Somebody said I'm a teacher. But the matter of fact is that this is an issue which has stake with every parent of this country, every family of this country, rather every citizen, because these young children are our huge, huge investment for what Prime Minister Modi describes as Viksit Bharat of 2047. And if just being associated with the education was a stake, then I think I am the greatest stakeholder, having been a medicine teacher for more than 25 years. But nevertheless, before I respond to some of those points, I would have no hesitation, and I say this with all the confidence at my command because we live in an evidence-based era, and each word that we say, because yesterday also there were some data mentioned which did not exist. Like, for example, it was said, and it was said today also, that 152 paper leaks, and yesterday it was said affecting 765 crore children. Now, I don't know where the source is. Unfortunately, today this number was also cited by the leader of opposition. So they have not been able to authenticate where they got from 152 leaks. And let's not forget, the entire population of the world today is around 800 crore. And therefore 765 crore being impacted, 765 crore children being impacted in India is not only hilarious, it's also unbelievable. But I think one of the greatest accomplishments as far as medical education is concerned under Prime Minister Modi after 2014 is that we have made a very earnest effort to liberate it from the management quota malaise and try to make the medical education more accessible. And what the honourable member who just now finished speaking was saying, that now instead of 7 we have 22 aims. From medical colleges 387 we have 844. The number of medical seats in undergraduate level increased from 51,300 to 1,39,000. PG seats from 31,000 to 86,300. And I think one of the greatest shortcomings was because of the shortage of the seats in the private sector, in the public sector, some of those who were aspiring to be doctors were constrained to go to the private sector and had to shell out huge amount of fortune, hard-earned fortune by their parents. And therefore, to an extent, this is also a democratization through accessibility and affordability of medical education. And this principle of democratization of education in general has been applied by Prime Minister Modi in the education sector in general as well. And I think the biggest game changer over the last decade has been NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020, because it has liberated our adolescent children from the slavery of the subjects chosen by their parents or their guardians or their elders in class 12. For example, if a parent wanted his child to choose medical subjects in class 12 to become a doctor, and somehow the child could not make it, then what was the future course for him or her? He or she would become a prisoner of the subjects chosen. He had to do his graduation again, either biology or botany, then MSc again, PhD still. So the choice became narrower and narrower. And the child went on pursuing the same subjects, even though he did not have the preference of the aptitude. So this is an aptitudinal freedom which has happened with NEP 2020. It should have happened many years earlier. But I don't know what kind of vested interests were there behind it. Not only that, the number of universities over the last 12 years has gone up from 760 to 1,293. There has been 30% expansion in the higher education in general as well. besides medical education, from 51,534 higher education institutions, we are today 64,896. There has been a special focus given. Mr. Kharge was repeatedly referring to education constraints faced by the weaker sections of the scheduled castes, the others. It is this government, for the first time, came out with the concept of Eklavya schools in tribal areas. Unfortunately, it was not mentioned throughout the discussion. So we have today, even today, we have 400 Eklavya schools across the country. Similarly, there was issues raised repeatedly about the opportunities of livelihood not being available. This government, not only, I'll come to that also, if you see the number of employment opportunities which were being referred by some of the members who have just walked out, the matter of fact is that between 2004 to 2014, the number of appointments made in the government jobs by the then UPA government was 7.22 lakh. This can be verified. Whereas in the next 10 years, because I'm being very equitable in comparison, the next 10 years from 2014 to 2024, it was 10.96 lakh. So there is 1.5 times increase in the number of appointments. The leader of opposition was also referring to lesser number of appointments being given to the scheduled castes in the government sector. Our data bears out. Backlog vacancies had not been filled. So backlog vacancies again pertain to OBC. Entire backlog has been completed. And I say this with confidence because the DOPT handles it. We made a fast track campaign and succeeded in doing so. Promotions had been stagnated. बड़ा दुखद कई बार ये दृश्य देखने को मिलता, जो सज्जन 35 साल के बाद उसी पद से सेवानिवृत्त हो जाता. His colleagues would be giving him farewell and he would be moving out with a heavy heart from the same chair. We have given bulk promotions. We did that 4,000, 2,000, 6,000 and cleared all the stagnated promotions so that nobody could remain demotivated in the government service. But what is more important than that also is that we also try to create a culture and a mindset in this country that livelihood does not